Good morning, Floss Tube. This is Julie with Reflections Framing and Stitching. Today is Monday. It is the 17th of August. This is the Dan and Julie Show, video number 45.
Right.
I'm Julie.
I'm Dan.
He's Dan. Welcome. How are you? We hope you're having a great day. It's beautiful out here, so we thought we would, since Dan's feeling a little better, we thought we would do a video. And he's got his project he can show you and a framed finish that he can show you, and I've got some whips and whatever else we decide to talk about. But I think we'll start with maybe Dan talking a little bit about the elephant in the room, or the arm, as the case may be. As a lot of you know, he did take a tumble. So, would you like to tell them about it?
It's not a real proud story to tell.
No, but maybe the more embarrassed you are, the less chance there'll be of you doing it again.
I don't know what she told you guys, but I was changing fluorescent light bulbs in the shop and was successful on several, and got to the back room and was working on one which is over your, I keep calling it a laminating table,
It's the
but
dry mount machine.
the dry mount machine. So I had to step up onto a chair, up onto the table to get to the lights. Now this was successful in taking the lights out, but the law of averages got to me, and I didn't really notice that the chairs were stacked. There was two stacked chairs. They're like hotel chairs, at a convention, just metal. And they were stacked, and as I went to step over onto the table, the top one slipped out, and I found myself going backwards onto the concrete. So I chucked the fluorescent light like a javelin, and was able to spin around and catch my full weight on my left wrist on the concrete. And then I proceeded to roll onto, must have been 10 or 11 ribs? Probably not that many, but it feels like it. Onto my ribs, and also scraped my head a little bit there. But no more brain damage than before, as far as I can tell. But it was broken pretty bad. Adam took me to the emergency room, and they set it in a splint, basically. And I didn't get into the orthopedic till about
It was Monday. We went Monday.
Monday.
The accident happened on Saturday. Had we waited to get into the orthopod that I wanted to go to, it would have been later in the week.
So they did confirm that it was broke along the long part
Thumb
of
side bone. The long one here, in a couple places.
in a couple places. They were talking about having to put a cadaver bone in there if it was all shattered, and so maybe it could have been worse than it was. They put a plate in it and pinned it. Did they tell you how many screws they put in?
Mm-mm.
No.
They didn't give me any details.
So we'll go back on Friday and get the stitches out and get it into a removable cast.
It's a pretty yellow and black. We have a butterfly bush,
Oh yeah,
and there's a beautiful, huge yellow and black butterfly.
that's a new one.
I saw a blue and black one the other day. Sorry, continue.
It is kind of eye-catching down there. It's about the size of my hand. My good hand. So, yep, I'm in recovery. Done pretty well. Stayed off of the narcotic painkillers since Saturday afternoon.
No,
Yeah.
you took one. You didn't take one yesterday. Was the first day you didn't take any.
The night before I didn't. Was the last time. Anyway, we've been off of those for a while. So I think I've put those away and just handling it with ibuprofen. And I've got all week off if I need it. We'll see how it goes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, in your story, you neglected to tell them that where the ladder was and why you didn't use it.
Is that necessary?
Again, The more embarrassed you are, perhaps the less chance that you'll do this a fourth time.
Yeah, the ladder was out in the front part of the shop where there was other lights out.
How many feet away would you say it was?
Oh, it was at least 20 feet. Through the doorway, around the table, back behind the cutter. It had been impossible to get it back there for the most part.
Bullshit.
So, yeah, it was.
Yeah. So he had the ladder out. It really wouldn't have been that difficult to move it to the back room.
Well, there's only one light to fix back there, so.
But that made it okay. Obviously. Okay. Anyway, he is doing well. Thank you again for all the well wishes and for his speedy recovery. We appreciate them.
I did stitch for a couple nights before the surgery, but
You haven't tried it since.
no, I've been keeping it pretty immobilized.
His fingers kind of look like fat little sausages,
But they're moving.
but they are moving.
They are swollen.
So, yeah. He's doing all right.
I'll put a disclaimer out there. Do not try this at home.
Well, let's just hope you are one of those that will now heed your words and not climb on. Chairs are not meant to be climbed on. They're meant to be sat on.
I've got the lecture from multiple people.
Everybody.
If anybody wants to send anything in, go ahead. If it makes you feel better.
I think a few of them already have. So, all right. What would you like to start with? Shall I show some of my stuff since you don't have much?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, it's been kind of nice having 4 days off. I've done a little bit of stitching, not a whole lot of stitching, but a little bit. Getting up and down those first few days to give him medicine all the time, and one would have thought his legs were damaged in the fall because he did not move at all.
Doctor's orders.
They did say to stay quiet, but you needed to get up and move and get that circulation going. Since you're diabetic, you can't just sit there. Didn't want you throwing a clot. Anyway, so I did get some stitching done. This is my Land That I Love from Teresa Kogut. I tell you, I stitch and I stitch and I stitch and I stitch, and I just don't seem to get anywhere on this one. But I did get a little more of the alphabet done. So I'm clear over here to the Q. I got that done, and then the part that's after the Z, I got that done. This is a 40 count linen. I did tweak the colors just a little bit, doing over dyes on some of them instead of the DMC, and I had to tweak the blues a little bit to show up on this. This fabric was originally called anthracite. Well, it's still called anthracite, but it's a fabric that's called anthracite. It's originally a little more blue than what it's showing because I coffee dyed it. I wanted it to be a little grungy and dirty, and the anthracite was just too clean. So I've worked on that Saturday night during the Zoom and got a little bit done. Again, not a lot. Last night, when I was supposed to be working on Quaker Welcome, which I'll get to on why I didn't, I worked on Winter Wisdom from Cottage Garden Samplings. This is on I believe it's a 28 count. Picture This Plus. Can't remember the name of the fabric at this point in time, but I can look it up if I need to. But I'm doing it over one. It's possible this could be 25 count too. at this point. What? I got all this dark brown that you see done and a little bit of the golden brown in the pine cone. So again, I worked and I worked and I worked, but it doesn't feel like I got very far. It's really pretty though, isn't it?
A lot of detail.
A lot of detail. When I went to North Carolina for Amy and Emily's wedding, I took my samplers piece, which is I'm doing on 25 count over 1 to work on. So I got a little bit done there. Got this and grassy area. I think I finished the sheep and the 2 dogs. That looks like that. Okay, Quaker welcome. Here's the situation. I see this piece in like 3 different bands. So the top band is this. Middle band would be all the letters in the alphabet. And then this is as the bottom section. And I got the top section done. And I like it so much that I'm not sure I'm kind of ambivalent about the rest of it. It's like, I don't know. I don't know that I feel the need to finish the rest of it. I'm still pondering it, which is why I didn't work on it last night. And if I do finish it, I've decided to do things a little bit differently down here with colors. So it'll probably look a little different if I finish it. But I think this would look, don't you think this would just be cute, just the way it is? Just says welcome.
Yeah, but you surprised me because you're doing that with another one. You're contemplating that with another project.
Mm-mm.
The one with the fence. You weren't going to do the fence.
I haven't even started that.
Oh, okay. She's not going to do something that she has not even started yet.
Anyway, it's a very pretty sampler, and I really love the top part of it. And
Overkill on the fabric.
This is the called for fabric, which is from Primitive Hair, and it comes in a pre-cut chunk.
Okay.
And which is one of the reasons why I like my fabric cut to size. Is then I don't have to worry about when I want to start something, I want to start something. I don't want to have to figure out the size of my fabric and then go cut it and serge it and blah, 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 blah. I just want to grab the bag and go. So, and in this is one of those cases when I didn't do that. So I've got all this extra fabric and the edges aren't serged and it's driving me insane. And you'll notice I haven't done a dang thing about it, so it is what it is. But anyway, it's a beautiful piece. I really want to love the bottom half, so I'm still thinking about where I want to go with that. Let's see.
It's a quandary.
It is a quandary. Quandary is a good word. I like that word. Don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Plethora. I like plethora too.
I could pontificate to you for a while if you want me to.
Could you? Please. I'd love to hear you pontificate. Because right now I'm showing a plethora of whips.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff.
It is. Okay. Aunt Amy's House from La-Di Da. I worked on this one also and made some pretty good progress on the house.
Maybe daughter Amy will have a house someday. Now that she's finally going to get a job pretty soon.
She's still got a year of
Pretty soon, I said.
fellowship to get through. But yeah. Well, it doesn't. It's not going to say. It doesn't say Aunt Amy anywhere on there. But I don't know. I just love that yellow house. But the vines are a pain in the patukas, I tell ya. All the little viney things. So I do those first and then I do the fill just because that way it's kind of, I don't have to count. And remember where to skip and where not to skip. Okay, so that's it for whips for me. I have a finish, somewhat of a finish to show.
Okay.
So if you want to show your one tiny little whip, you monogamous stitcher, you.
Well, first of all, I want to talk about an up-and-coming 21st century designer. Just gave me something to work on. My granddaughters were over last night, and Emma gave that to me, so I thought that was pretty colorful and some nice touches with the stickers, because stickers are all in now, you know.
Stickers are in, yes. People are
That's making me shake my head. Like
loving the stickers.
Loving the stickers.
And careful, this is wiggling.
So what am I showing first?
You're going to show your whip, so you got to show them the picture first.
Yes.
Yes. Are you sure you're not taking those drugs?
No, I'm not taking the drugs. I can always blame it on it, but I'm not. I think I've showed this to him before that I'm working
The Old
on it.
Winter, yes. From the Primitive Hair. He's doing it on the called for 30 count fabric. Got it? I'm going to have to put paper behind it or they won't be able to see. There. So he's got the antlers done.
And the candles. And the AD.
I don't know what that is.
I think it's supposed to be AD. 1536.
I don't know.
Don't know either. Looks good though.
He keeps asking me if that looks like a deer yet.
Obviously it does.
Obviously it looks like just a candelabra to me. I'm not seeing a deer yet
Could
here.
be an elk, but it's definitely not a candelabra only.
Well,
It's a strange pattern.
it is.
I've not ever seen candles on a deer out in the wild.
Well, I mean, who would light them for him?
Good question. How would they stay lit?
And how would they stay lit? And wouldn't it cause a forest fire?
There's a lot of bad ideas with that.
There is. There certainly is. Was when Emma gave you that picture, was that also the night that she told you your brain wasn't working right?
Eventually, yes.
So even she notices. I don't know if
Well, it
it's
could be that I was giving her a bad time about
surgery
everything,
brain
too.
or
She
what.
knows she's 5 years old, and I kept saying she was 4, 6. That's when she was saying my brain isn't working right.
Well, your brain isn't working
Because
right.
she's 4 years old.
No, she's not.
I don't know, she's 5.
Yes. But okay, would you like to show your?
They also said that I smelled funny too.
They did. He
Yeah.
hadn't showered that day,
That was,
so.
but it was humbling. It's a humbling experience because I'm not Emma's favorite right now. She's kind of.
She is a little squeamish
Yeah, she
when it
doesn't-
comes to bodily injuries. She doesn't want. She wouldn't even come near him.
She's hanging out with Juju, so
Yeah, that's
It's-
weird.
it's kind of humbling.
Yeah,
And now she wants to be a doctor.
that is never happening.
I don't think so.
That will never happen. Not at all.
Always interesting when they come over, that's for sure.
Do you want to show your frame
Sure.
finish?
It's gonna blow away. Okay. Ribs are still a little sore. There he is. What is this called? The blanketed black
I
horse?
forget, but it's from Artful Offerings. I forget the name of it. Christmas Tide something.
But that's totally Julie's pick on the frame. Which
So
is,
blame it on me if you don't like it.
no, they're going to like it, I'm sure. But, it's kind of textured, as you can see. And glossy, too. It's probably not one I would have picked, but as usual, that's what happens when you let your LNS do your framing. One thing that kind of bothers me about floss tube,
What?
I've learned a lot from stitchers about stitching,
Yeah.
but sometimes they really should not delve into the framing side, because framers know what to do with framing. They know how to frame, and unless you've worked as a framer, in my opinion, there's just too many things about it that make or break a good project. And not only the aesthetic part of it, but some of the things people are suggesting I know are not. You cringe and I cringe.
Well, I do cringe, but
It works
I also,
for them,
I also
so.
know that not everybody can afford professional framing.
True.
But they'd still like to enjoy their pieces being finished. So, everybody's got to do what's right for them.
I'm just lucky I have a good price point worked out with my framer.
Yeah, really lucky.
It comes out of my pocket anyway, so it doesn't matter.
It does come out of your pocket because God knows this framer doesn't make any money.
Talking about picking frames, when I was working the shop while Julie was out gallivanting across the country,
Oh, I went to North Carolina.
North Carolina, no, it was Nashville, I think, that time. One of the framers came in. She always puts things in the state fair when we have a state fair, and it isn't bankrupt like they've managed to do now.
Yeah.
Anyway, she came in, and I was the only one working, and we just started playing around with picking a frame for her.
Was that Wendy?
That was Wendy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Wendy.
Hi, Wendy. And we had a good time. We had every frame off the wall. Thought we had some good selections, and hour and a half later, we said, well, we'll see what Julie thinks about it. And so the next time I saw Wendy, I said, so did you get your framing picked out? Oh, yeah. I said, did she go with the ones that we went? Oh, no. Not even close. So we had no clue. So that's...
But you had fun.
We did have fun.
You had, that's one of the things I enjoy the most about framing is people bringing their projects in and
See where it
playing with
goes.
the different moldings, because there's not ever just one right molding. It just depends on what look you want for your piece. So you can take it in a million different directions if you want, and if you have the time and your framer likes to play like I do. So
I like to play. I just don't ever get anywhere when I play. I get shot down all the
well,
time.
you don't do it often enough. I didn't automatically know what I was doing when I started. I took a considerable amount of time. So, and playing. I mean, it took a lot of playing. Okay, I'm going to show you my semi-finish. And the reason it's only a semi-finish is because it's a 4 seasons thing. I'm doing them all on one piece. So I finished the second season, which is winter. For some reason, and I could have changed it around had I wanted to. I could have put, well, no, I don't think I could have.
You're
Yeah, I
looking at it
could've.
sideways, right?
I know I'm looking at it sideways. Yeah, I could have changed. Well, anyway, I didn't change. I did it exactly as they showed it on the back. So, this is Winter from the Drawn Thread. Simply Winter. Yes, sorry. Because this is the Simply Seasons. And then if you flip the chart over to the back side, it shows them to you all on one piece. And I debated for a very, very long time. I stitched the first one, and then it sat because I debated forever and ever and ever as to whether I wanted to do them separate or all together. And in the end, I decided to do them all together. So I finished Winter, so that's 2 seasons down. Trying to figure out how to fold this. 2 seasons down, 2 to go. I think I've decided I'm going to go back in and fill in the windows, because my fabric color is really dark, and I think a glowing yellow window I mean, not glowing yellow, but like candle lit window would look good. So I'll go back and do that. But the called for stitching is done. And this is on 40 count. Fabric color is chestnut. And this is a hand dyed by Stephanie. So it's kind of a greenish brown. And I love the color. So there's winter, simply winter. But you can see how those windows would look good if they were kind of a pale yellow. So I'll do that for all the seasons then, because it'd look weird if I didn't. So I'm calling that a finish, even though it's not technically a completed project. That section is finished. It's a separate individual chart, so I could call it a finish if I want to, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing. I'm calling it a finish.
Why did you go with such a contrast on the original call for fabric? Is it just your anti-establishmentarianism coming out, or what caused you to do that? Did you like that word?
Yeah, that was an excellent non-word.
That's a word.
I don't think so.
Oh, yeah. I wrote it. I wrote it.
Well, then it must be true. Just like if it's on the internet, it's got to be true, right? Let's see. What was the question?
What drove you to
Change
go
the
with
fabric?
such a contrast? Not just to change it, to
Go dark instead of light?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not a real fan of light colored fabric.
You just like the new colors coming out.
That's not a new
But
color.
a lot of the new ones coming out are more vibrant and colorful and deeper
I
in
just
tone.
wanted to do something different than what everyone else might do. And I tend to like darker fabric over lighter fabric.
That's the definition of anti-establishmentarianism. I like to do things different than other people.
Uh-huh. Okay. If you say so.
That's how I change a light bulb.
Right.
A little bit different than most people do.
Very different from most people. Yes. Yes. So that's all we really have to show you today. I haven't started anything new. I've kind of wanted to. But then when I go to try and pick something new to start, I can't make up my mind, and I end up talking myself out of it. So one of these days, it's the mood is going to hit, and I'm going to have to start something.
Me too.
Like last night, I almost went downstairs and grabbed, what was that one I showed you when we were cleaning up that I said, ooh, I'd really kind of like to start that one.
It was a little one.
What was it though? Because we made the pathway we took apart all of his teaching area and made the pathway to the water softener that's supposed to be changed. Well, it was supposed to happen today, but it ended up not happening today. But I can't remember what. I don't remember now.
I can picture it, but I don't know.
Obviously, it didn't stick in my head enough. But you're making this move.
Sorry.
It makes them dizzy and sick to their stomach, and then they'll fall and break their arm and end up having to have surgery and taking a week off. And it would all have been your fault. What do you think about that?
Feeling guilty.
You should.
We may have to redo this video.
We may have to. It's kind of jiggly. We had to anyway. Because we got started, and then... Can you believe people are out walking on this beautiful day and the dogs barked on our sidewalk with a dog, and it made our dogs bark, and I said a bad word, and so we had to start the video over again. The nerve of some people. So I think you had a little story you wanted to tell them.
Oh yeah, I forgot to remind me not to forget to remember. So I was trying to pull one over on my granddaughters. So they've got a garden going this year, a raised garden, a couple raised bed gardens.
This is their first time that
Yep.
they've had a garden.
Yep. and they're getting cucumbers, a lot of cucumbers. And Emma loves cucumbers. I think Addie does too. But
I think they both do.
so they're eating the cucumbers, but they've got a watermelon patch that's going too, and it's about the size of our deck, spread out in their backyard. It's going crazy. And they've got, the last time I was over there, I think we counted 5 or 6, a little bit larger than softball size watermelons going, and they're excited about them and check them every day, and always finding, new little ones. So I was picking up some stuff for my lunches, and I walked by the watermelons, and there was a pretty big round watermelon, like almost the size of a basketball. So I picked that up, and I stopped off. Actually, I went over after I was teaching, right? So it was covert in the evening. And I took the big watermelon over there and put it in the middle of the patch, and actually super glued a piece of vine to the stem so it looked really real. And on top of that, I took 2 ripe tomatoes that were given to me at work, and I just sat them on the tomato cage there. And it was, the reason was just to see Emma and Addie's reaction to the big watermelon. So I let it go for a day or so, and I think I just emailed or texted Marcia, my daughter-in-law. I said, so how did the girls react to that big watermelon? And then there was a little bit of a pause, and I get a response back. She says, oh my God, you got me, Dan. I thought that was our watermelon. I posted it on Facebook. I'm bragging about, look at this watermelon that we grew. Took pictures of it, sent it out to everybody.
Instagram, Facebook, yeah.
Yeah. Took it in, ate it all in one setting. They said it was delicious. But Emma's reaction was, well, it rained. That must have really grew from the rain last night. So,
Yeah.
mission kind of accomplished, but sometimes they go awry a little bit. But it was still a pretty good story. They didn't think they thought the tomatoes were from the vine too.
Or don't they just have like a cherry tomato plant?
Well, they were tomatoes, yeah. They were green,
They're
and only
green and only
marble
like
size.
and then all of a sudden these 2 big red ones show up. And they didn't think that was weird.
I guess not.
I don't
Maybe
know.
the girls grabbed them before Marcia saw them or something.
But
It was
but
the rain.
still,
It was
the rain. Okay, it was the rain. It was the rain. Yeah. So, yeah. Do you have any other funny stories?
I don't think
Is that
so.
are you storied out now?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Well, I don't have anything else, I don't think. Do I have anything else? I always think of things after I shut down the video. But I
If
don't.
we have any Ray or Barb stories, they were here.
Yeah, our friends from Wyoming came to visit. We had a great time with them.
Weather was nice. We spent all day out on the deck
Yeah.
into the evening.
Just chatted and caught up with each other's lives. And Barb is headed up to Bozeman today. Her son and his wife have she's probably five months old, maybe, baby,
About that.
somewhere in the 5-6 month old range, and their daughter-in-law is a teacher, so she was going to have to start teaching, and they didn't want to put her into daycare yet. So Barb was going to go up there and stay for, I think, a month,
Yeah, 30 days. Right?
and then Ingrid's mother was coming to stay for a month. So that's nice that they have that option to do. Amy and Emily are doing well. Amy started back to work today, so this is officially her first day of her fellowship. So this will be her last year of school-related work, and then she's going to have to actually find a normal job next year. So she'll go until, I think, August next year, and then hopefully she will have found a job before
Yeah, she's
that.
looking already.
She's already looking, filling out applications. They either want to stay in Durham or possibly move back here, because they kind of like to be close to the nieces. And So they're doing well. Adam and Marcia are doing well. Melanie, Ben, Kate, and Chris are hanging in there.
Probably should say an
So-
epitaph for Abby.
Yeah, Abby's possibly been exposed to COVID again, so we're just waiting to hear whether the person that she was with tests positive, but she's lost her sense of smell and taste, and so she was getting tested today. Not Abby, the girl who was the girl who thinks she has it, that might have exposed Abby. Has lost her sense of smell and taste, which is one of the big symptoms. So we're just kind of waiting to hear. We were going to go out and visit, but now we're not, because it was a beautiful day. It would have been a good day to sit outside. We haven't seen Reese in a little while, have we?
Well, I'd seen her.
You've seen her, but I haven't. And now I'm out of my 14 days that I was kind of staying away from people after being in North Carolina. So that would have been nice, but not gonna do it now. So that pretty much is life. I did work on some of you who watched me for a long time are aware that I bought an antique sampler some years ago, 2, 3, somewhere in there. And I've been working on reproducing it as time permits, which time has not permitted in the last year or so.
I've been bugging her to do it.
He has been bugging me to work on it. So I did get a chance while he was napping Saturday. I did get a chance to work on that some. And it's somewhat nearing completion. I wish I was an artist, because there's some the fibers are faded enough that while you can tell there was probably more than one color in certain areas, you can't really distinguish what was one color and what was another. And it's some shading, and I just am not talented in that area. So I wish I had an artist who could come in and tell me, okay, yeah, that looks natural. I mean, I've winged it, but I wish I had someone who could tell me, yeah, that looks good. But I don't. So it may come down to having to stitch that part and see how it looks stitched. But I'm hoping to work on that for a little while again this afternoon.
I'm anxious to see everybody's reaction to it, because when other people release them, it's a big deal. So somebody new that's tried it, and it's a very historical, interesting piece. There's a good story behind it. So
It's pretty. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do the rest of the day. I go back to work tomorrow. I know there's orders waiting. I did get the floor cleaned while he was in surgery. I did some cleaning up in the shop and got the floor all cleaned, which made me feel so much better because it was nasty. So got some orders, got to get out, and then we'll work on. We received our order of the Mayflower stitch along. I have my boxes, so we need to get those all packed up. Still don't have the Gentle Art threads, so those of you who ordered the Gentle Arts, I don't have them. Hopefully they'll come soon, but I don't have them now. So I will get everyone else's ready, those of you who wanted my conversion, and hopefully by the end of the week those will be ready to be picked up or shipped out, whichever works best for you. And that's probably about how the week will go.
do you have enough material that if somebody wants to switch back over to the conversion, they still can? Or
The only part of the conversion was the threads. So, and no, I don't have
okay.
I don't have any extra threads. I thought I had ordered extra, but when we started pulling them, I ended up with no extra threads. So I mean, I've reordered, but I don't have them now. So, anyway, that's about all I've got to tell you. So, I hope you take care and get some stitching done, and we will see you the next time, huh?
Yeah.
Hopefully, you'll be well on the mend then. You think?
Oh, should be.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
bye.
Bye.